We all know Steph Curry is a legend. Dude's got rings, MVPs, and a three-point shot that's wet from Pluto. But there's more to the story than just highlights. We're talking untold secrets, crazy moments, and even how Steph messed up a whole video game. Get ready to be amazed because in this episode, we're diving deep into 6 things you never knew about Stephen Curry. Number 6. Let's talk about when Steph Curry became a superstar in the NBA. After winning his first MVP and championship, he aimed for legendary status. The next year, he had an amazing season, but it caused a problem in the NBA 2K video game. The game's creators had designed it to reward good shots and punish bad ones. Shots that were contested or from early far were supposed to be hard to make. But Steph was making these shots in real life, which made him too powerful in the game. This forced the game developers to change the game mechanics just to balance it. Steph's skills were so good that they had to fix the game because of him. So, he kind of messed up the game. But it was because he was so good at basketball. Number 5. Imagine if I told you that Steph has a condition that could really mess up his life. You see, Steph was on track to be the best shooter ever. He made 3-pointers 43% of the time. But then something strange happened. His shooting suddenly got way worse. His 3-point percentage dropped to 36%. Even so, he still got voted into the All-Star game. But at the All-Star event, things went really bad. Steph had one of his worst shooting games ever. Instead of his usual 43%, he was only making 23% of his shots. He practiced a lot, but nothing helped. Steph knew something was off, so he went to see a doctor. That's when he got some terrible news. He had an eye disease that was making his vision blurry, and it was getting worse fast. When people found out, they asked him about it in interviews. Luckily, the doctors had a solution: special contacts. And what happened when Steph wore them? His 3-point shooting went up to a career high of 51%. Steph thanked his new contacts for the improvement, but secretly, he was also getting in trouble with his mom for something else. Number 4. When Steph joined the NBA, he was already good at shooting, passing, and defending. But there was one thing he wasn't so good at, and he needed help from his mom to fix it. They made a deal that if Steph had more than 3 mistakes in a game, he had to give his mom $100 for each mistake. At first, it was just a couple of $100, but it soon became thousands. By the end of the season, Steph had given his mom over $7,000 because he made a lot of mistakes. Even though he was paying so much money, Steph couldn't stop making mistakes. He kept making about 3 mistakes per game. When reporters asked him about the bet, he said he stopped paying his mom a few years ago, but she still reminds him about it sometimes. Number 3. Despite giving his mom a lot of money, Steph Curry's mom still couldn't afford one of his game-worn mouthguards. One of them even sold for $25,000. But if they're worth so much, have you ever wondered why Steph purposely ruins them in every game? Well, it all started back when Steph was playing college basketball for Davidson. He suffered a bad injury during a game, getting elbowed and busting his lip open. Since then, he hasn't played without a mouthguard. The controversy arose from how Steph chews on his mouthguard. He admitted to wearing the same one for 6 games straight, only using 12 different ones per season. Dentists weren't happy about this, saying it set a bad example for kids and could lead to bacteria in his mouth. For years, we've seen Steph's mouthguard chewing as a ritual. But before Steph could explain why, ESPN dropped a stat showing something interesting. Apparently, his free throw shooting improved when he chewed on his mouthguard. In 2014, with his mouthguard in place, he shot 89% from the line. But over the next 2 seasons, while chewing on it, he shot 92%, a 3% increase. So, to improve his shot, Steph chews on his mouthguards every game, and he hasn't shot below 90% since. Steph revealed his real reason for chewing on them, saying it calms him down, especially during free throws. Despite the jokes about it, Like when he played golf with the president and didn't do well. At least it's not as serious as the time an NBA player to end up in the hospital. Number 2. The 2015 NBA Finals got really crazy. The Cavaliers thought they had a way to stop Steph Curry, and in one game, Steph played really badly. He missed a lot of shots, especially from three-point range, and he made more mistakes than good passes. It was one of his worst games ever. The next day, ESPN criticized Steph a lot, all because of Matthew Dellavedova. They said that if Steph tried to shoot with Dellavedova guarding him, it would be hard. Fans saw that Dellavedova was playing really tough defense on Steph in the first 2 games. It was everywhere on social media, and we all know how much Steph loves social media. So he wanted payback in Game 3. Steph came out shooting great in Game 3. He couldn't be stopped, making shot after shot. Even though he scored a lot of points and made 7 3-pointers, Dellavedova was still guarding him tough. Dellavedova also played his best game, scoring 20 points and playing tough defense. But it turned out Dellavedova pushed himself so hard that he ended up in the hospital after the game. He had severe cramps and dehydration. People realized that he really gave it his all on the court. Even his teammates said that Steph almost killed him with how hard he made Dellavedova work. Steph didn't say much about it. He just kept playing great for the rest of the series, scoring more than 26 points per game and helping his team win. Number 1. Steph Curry didn't just help the Warriors with 3 times in a row and get the championship. People also found out that he's been copying moves from kids. Over the years, Steph's fancy dribbling moves have become really popular, like the time he made Chris Paul look silly, got Rudy Gobert all confused, and made Marcus Smart give up. If you think Steph invented those moves, you're mistaken, because he's actually taking them from kids. Yep, when Steph was at one of his basketball camps, a high school player did a move that even Steph thought was cool. That player was Dennis Smith Jr. At first, nobody knew about him or the move, but shortly after, Steph used that move during a Team USA practice and embarrassed the coach with it. Of course, when an NBA player does something like that, it gets a lot of attention. The video of it got almost 10 million views, and Dennis Smith Jr. noticed. He tweeted about it, saying he's the one who showed Steph that move. So, Steph got caught taking a move from a kid, but he owned up to it pretty quickly. He admitted it and said he's always learning from others. Dennis Smith was in high school when this happened, but that's not the only time Steph copied a kid. Recently, he saw a 10-year-old doing amazing things at a basketball camp and had to share it on Instagram, saying he just learned 2 new moves. It's crazy to think Steph's been in the NBA longer than this kid's been alive, but he's still learning from everyone, no matter how young they are. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more. Until next time, Hardcase Lucker Fanatics is signing off.